I'm here today with the SmartRest Rack and Rest 2 Lone Shooter Thermal Kit. As you can see, with a Pulsar Quantum Light XQ30 thermal monocular up on top, and the Digex Night Vision N455 scope on the rifle with the Z-Vision IR torch. A lot of my specialised shooting programs are over bait stations in areas where I've got to be very quiet and no torches, no lights, no sound. So I wanted to be able to have a rest that I could have set up on the vehicle so that I didn't have to have the rifle down at the front seat. It could be there in the ready position at all times. I then wanted to be able to scout around with a thermal image and have that image streamed back into the cabin. So instead of having the old spotlight, white light, I've now got the thermal image streaming back down into the vehicle in a screen. Once I identified a target animal that I want to shoot, then I'll swap over, and then I wanted the night vision for clarity. And also, I've got the screen through the Wi-Fi streaming back. So I don't actually need to look through the scope of the rifle. I've got an iPad inside that I can shoot from. Now the beauty about that is that I've got a lot of movement with the Rack and Rest 2. Because I don't need to put my eye to the scope, I'm looking at the screen, I can move this a fair way around, and as long as I can reach the trigger, I can take that shot. One of the main advantages for me with the Rack and Rest 2 is the fact that because I no longer need to look through the scope, I've got that ability to be able to use one hand only on the trigger to be able to take shots. So I've got, from the vehicle, I've got 180 degree shooting range. Whereas if I was trying to put the rifle to my shoulder without the Rack and Rest 2, I would not be able to take those shots. I'd be limited to a lot less. The support from the rest is essential for what I'm doing. I could not take the shot without this sort of support, particularly with the extra strut here as well. It really gives me a good solid rest. And if I didn't have that, then I would just be waving around unsupported, trying to rest off the windowsill, and I couldn't get the shots that I can get from this. I use the thermal monocular for spotting, going back down to a screen inside the vehicle, as I find this very quick and easy. You can still just drive around quietly shining this the same as you would with a normal traditional spotlight. And then I've gone for the night vision scope because I find that clarity, particularly if you've got to take a longer shot, you can see your target and identify it a lot clearer with the night vision than you can with the thermal. Up close, yes, the thermal scopes are fantastic and you can quite clearly see your target, but for those longer shots, I prefer to go for the night vision. And you can identify the topography of the ground around you and get a better idea of what's behind the target that you're trying to shoot at. Some other thermals may have a single thread up underneath, and SmartRest has also got an attachment that can be used to screw in directly underneath and uses the quick release. No problem with being able to get a full 360 degree view from your thermal monocular with this setup. I've put some notches on one of the sides so that I just touch that with my thumb when I'm holding onto there, and I always know that that means that that's facing forward, and that helps me with my orientation of a night as you're sitting in complete darkness. So with this particular monocular, it doesn't have the Wi-Fi capability, so this one's an old traditional hardwired version. So that's why I've got the cable running through here, nice and neatly tucked underneath the rack and rest 2, and then coming out into a DVD screen inside. So a little modification suggested by Michael at Eagle Eye Hunting is to reduce the length of the original handle, which has given me a better hand position from inside the cabin, but it also gives me more clearance for when I've got the Z-Vision torch on top of the scope. One of the biggest advantages of this so far is it takes me a minute to take it out of the back seat and actually install it. And not only do I have the rest, but I've also got the thermal monocular all set up. So there's no holes drilled in roofs. There's nothing to worry about. I've got a quick release here so I can take that thermal monocular off and store it away separately, take the rifle out, store it away, and then just put this on the back seat. So there's no changes to the vehicle itself. 1 minute and I'm up and running. 1 minute, it's packed away. I've tried all different setups. I've been doing this for quite a long time. I'm a bit of an experimenter. I like to make things and try and get things to work better. And this is by far the best setup that I have got running, and I don't use anything else anymore. This is it. I do a lot of shooting, a lot of nighttime work, and I'm extremely happy with the way that this is working out now.
SmartRest. Make every shot count.